free. Let me turn this around here because you don't want to see that. Oh my gosh. You want to see this. That is what's up. And let me just get my iPad ready here. Let me go back here. Let me go to let me view my channel. Um, Here we go. Just so I can see what's going on here and join in the chat. All right, rock and roll. So, making Megaforce, here we go. Um, Tonight, it's a Saturday night hanging out with y'all, and I'm looking forward to giving this painting what it needs. It needs some color. And so tonight I'm going to be doing what's called the underpainting. Are you ready for this? Finally, some color. Somewhere here, I put my glasses. I think they're right behind me. And yeah, so this is going to be really fun doing some color. And already, this is kind of the comp that Bob Lindenmayer, the director, put together. And it's already a really cool design. And so I'm not changing that much. And at first I was thinking, I'm not going to change anything. I have one thing that I want to embellish a little bit. So I'm going to take some artistic license here and I'll talk about it as I get into it. And I hope Bob is okay with it. But I think it's going to make this piece even better. And I think, because this is already a really cool photo comp, to be honest. And I think originally Bob was just going to use this. He's a designer by trade and made it really cool, but he wanted it to be illustrated kind of in the classic 80s style. And so there's only one thing, there's only one kind of thing with my sensibilities here that I think is going to make it stand out even more. And I think Bob is going to like it. I hope he's going to like it. So we'll see. All right, so here we go. So the process now is adding washes. So prior to this, obviously it was all drawn out in pencil. We've got the darkest darks, which is what we did last time, which is just black gesso. And this really kind of helps set up the contrast. But now we are doing an underpainting. And this is a process where I'm not rendering as much as I am just getting in color. And I'm just kind of getting random colors in. It's not going to be the final color, but I'm separating color. And what this helps, similar to the darkest darks, this kind of just gets everything down. It kind of gets rid of the white, and it really helps me to see where do things need to go. And that's the whole point of an underpainting. It's funny, I actually just had I just saw in my email, I had been saving it for a while, but someone asked a really good question. What is the point of doing an underpainting? And I know it seems like, man, it's like you're painting it twice. Why not just go in and paint with permanent paint, like kind of what you want the end result to be? Why not just do that? And for me, I know it seems like you're painting twice, but this actually saves me a lot of time doing this underpainting. And again, I kind of just said what it was. It's really just helping separate everything, and it really helps me to see exactly where things need to go. Otherwise, I think what happens is artists just choose a color and they think it's going to be the final color. And once they put it down, they kind of don't feel like painting it again. And then it's kind of a situation where what you get is what you get. And that's not good enough for me. I kind of need to see where it's going so I can steer it in a direction and have kind of a finished piece that is just a lot more grounded, and it just kind of has the colors doing a lot more of what I want them to do. But in order to get there, I kind of need to see what I'm working with, so I can see where I need to steer things. Right now, I don't know where I need to steer things because right now it's just literally white with kind of the darkest dark. So that's what's going on. So first things last, it is Saturday night. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, obviously. So here's a toast. This is a White Russian straight out of the can. It's one of those cut waters. And I normally don't I normally don't drink much at all, and I normally don't drink when I do art, but it's Saturday night, so I thought hanging out with y'all. Cheers. Delicious. Okay. So, what do I want to do first? Gosh, well, let's get in some of these colors. I'm gonna start with. I'm gonna start with. Gosh, what do I start with? I'm gonna start with this yellow ochre, which is yellow oxide. And what I do, I just take paint straight out of the tube. And what does that look like? I use Liquitex acrylics like this. They're kind of the premium acrylics, but acrylic is still pretty cheap. This is what most illustrators that work by hand, your Drew Struzans, your John Alvins, they all work with acrylic. And then what I do is I create my own washes, and I just squeeze them into these old film canisters here and add water, and then it becomes a wash. And they last a long time. So I've got this yellow oxide, and that's almost the basic color that you kind of see everywhere. But obviously the outfits that they have, and I'm just going to go ahead and I am going to paint that down everywhere that I see it in this comp. And I'm just going to start separating some of these colors. Here we go. So I'm using, this is a 1/2 inch flat brush that I'm going to use right now for starters. Let me think about that. I changed my mind. I am going to use a 1-inch brush to get some flat color happening. And I've got my wash already mixed. Now, is this the exact color of the places of everything that I'm going to paint in? No, it's not, but this is my underpainting, and this is going to help me see where things need to go. I'm not really thinking about rendering as much. I'm just separating color. So as I render more and kind of get tighter as I move on, it's going to help me do that. Okay. I'm looking here. Looks good. Looks good. Gosh, I almost see just a little bit up here. That's a little dark. Do I want to add more water to it? Let's find out. Let me paint this little bit back here. I think I do. I think I do want to add a little bit more water to this. Right now, it's a little on the dark side, and not that kind of dark side. So I've got my wash here. I'm gonna add, I have a bucket right here. So let me add some water to it. Very good. I probably should have got some paper towels handy because I might need them. Off the camera here, because I just don't want this to drip all over. I'm mixing my wash. Mixing my wash. It was about half full, and I added water, so it's thinning out that wash. All right, where else? Let's see here. There's just a little bit. And then there's these really cool textures in the sky, but I'm just gonna kind of feather in. These are, the work that I do is handmade. There's nothing wrong with using your hands. In the end, right now this looks so permanent, but it's not going to be. When you see the end result, you probably, right now it stands out because it's the only thing that I painted in there, but it won't be that way as much. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put in this wash on Bob's jacket. This is the 80s when like members only jackets reigned supreme. And I remember as a kid, I wanted a black one so bad. And you're gonna hear this, you're gonna think, what? I've never heard of such a thing. True story, when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to wear black. So um, I think for my birthday, all I wanted was a members only jacket, but I wanted a black one. And my mom was like, no way, Jose. So the best I could do, I got a light gray one. So I had a light gray members only jacket. All right, so because of all of the cool textures that were already on this gessoed illustration board, you can see how the textures are picking up the color. And right now it looks like it's really, like it's kind of streaking, but that's all, like, you see it a lot now, but you're not going to see it as much in the end result because this is going to have layers and layers. These wheels are a lot darker, but I do almost see like a hint of this mustard color underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on there because what I'm trying to do now, it's this process that I call getting rid of the white. I don't want any white to be showing at the end of this process, ideally. What I do want is coverage so that when I do my highlights later opaquely, they really stand out. All right, looks good. This looks good here. That's pretty light. Okay, good. That's gonna go darker. This goes darker. Under here, very good. Some of these washes cover over the darkest darks that I did, and that's okay because it's all part of the blending. And some of these darks I'm going to reinforce again later. It's all part of the process. Okay. Now, in this comp, Bob is a little bit more, he's got a little bit more color and it almost looks a little bit more yellow and it makes him pop out because he's a little bit more saturated. So I am gonna add a little bit more of the yellow in a bit, but for now, I am gonna put yellow ochre, this yellow oxide on here. Just to have it underneath. Because again, what I'm hoping to do here is layers. Okay, very good. Yep. Good. Okay. Yep. Getting rid of the white. there's a piece of the actual paintbrush I got on there. Okay, I've got the color in there, good. All right, this is looking good. Let's see, everything here. Sandy color there. Okay. All right, how is everyone? Leave me some comments. Let me know what's up. What do you guys got going on tonight? Just chilling like a villain? What's the story? Okay, in the hair here, the hair is pretty light, but there's just a little bit of this like sandy color, yellow ochre coming in. Same thing here on berry. A little bit here, a little bit here. Not a whole lot. Any opportunity to get rid of the white, I'm taking it. This is all going to be layers, layers and layers and layers of color that kind of achieve where this is going in the end. So I'm going around the patch here, this Megaforce patch. Okay, good. Oh, this is color in here. Very good. Excellent. All right. Ace Hunter. What a great name. Main character from Megaforce. Played by Barry Bostwick. Another patch over there. We've got this arm here. This is obviously going to go a lot darker. And right now it looks super yellow because it's the only color down, but this is more of a sandy color. I'm looking at the screen, and on screen it looks really yellow. It won't be as yellow in the final product. Okay, so we've got this dust that's kicking up here, but in the background we can see the forearm here. This goes underneath. This looks good here. Okay, good. I'm using a big brush right now, and it's a little bit, I don't know if I'd say sloppy, but that's okay because, again, all I'm looking to do now with this underpainting, it's kind of rough, and I'm just looking to get some color down. I'll be getting more specific as we go. Speaking of which, these vehicles, I'm going to give them the once over here. And yeah, I'm gonna knock these back. One of the cool things, a cool tidbit that Bob shared with me when we were talking about this piece, there was something about it, and I didn't say anything, but there was something about it that just seemed so familiar and so vintage, and there was just a vibe to it. And Bob shared with me that when he put together these, like the colors and the textures that you see in his comp being this right here, he sampled some textures from one of the, or several of the Boris Vallejo Star Wars posters that he did for Burger King. If you remember those from back in the day. And as soon as he said it, I knew exactly one poster in particular, which one, and I just thought that was the coolest thing. So cool. Let's see, this here, this looks good. Okay. Very nice. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. That looks good. All right, now I've got just some of this here. Some of this yellow ochre. All right, looks good. Okay, I dig it. All right. Now I've got to let this dry. Someone throw me some questions. I'm gonna say what up? What do you guys got going on this Saturday night? I guess it's usually Sunday nights that I do these live streams. Cheers. Deeds, not words. So I'm going to do another layer of this, and I'm just going to hit the areas that I feel need to go just a little bit darker. And so add a little bit more up there. Where else? No. Maybe a little bit here. Good. Some of this needs to dry, but it's a little bit darker, a little bit more intense up here. Good. All right. Looks good there. This is just a little bit more here. A little bit more here. This I went a little too much here. Pull that back. Okay. Let's see, this can go darker here. And then everything under here. On Bob's jacket, just a little bit more. Very good. A little bit more here. Let's see. A little bit more under here. Under here. A bit more in the background here. A little bit more here. Good, good. Good. Okay, very good. So I dig it. I kind of dig. It's slow and steady, but slow and steady wins the race. A lot of times people get frustrated with painting because they want to just add the right color the first time and be done with it. But I like the idea of layers and kind of every step of the way, kind of seeing where it needs to go. Just adding a little more oomph each time. Okay, good. Darker here. Good, good. Good. That looks good. This arm I want darker here. This all a little bit, I say darker, but it's really just like more color, a little more intensity. It is a little darker for sure, but All right. Again, layers. And this is the underpainting. This is separating color. This might look a little whack right now, but it's all steps to get there. Want this to dry. Also, I'm going to move out of the way for a second here so I can dry this brush. I'm going to pull just a little bit of, there's just a little puddle here, and that'll help it dry a little bit quicker. Yeah, all part of the process. All right, so I'm done with the yellow ochre. I can move this. I think I can move this. I can move this. Done with that brush. So I can show you at home kind of what it looks like. Still drying, it's pretty wet. Darth Moocher says, when are you doing another You Can Draw Star Wars? I still watch and learn from those videos and book, so thank you for those. Thank you so much. Those, so much fun to do, and each episode was almost like a mini film school for me because of how varying and different each episode was. And they were kind of my big start on YouTube. At the time that I made those, I didn't even know YouTube was going to be the big thing. I was actually more concerned, this is so funny, I was more concerned with MySpace TV because two things. For one, I had way more followers on MySpace, and MySpace TV was actually better than YouTube at the time. There was the codecs that you would use for MySpace TV were easier and better, and MySpace TV also had more resolution and better sound, and everything just looked better. So to me, I was like, I knew a lot of people were on YouTube and it was kind of becoming the next thing, but like I was having way more success in all areas on MySpace TV, so that's where I was putting all my eggs, and I was just throwing them on YouTube just because. And but who knew in the end that MySpace would quickly just disappear and be eaten up by Facebook, and that in the end YouTube would reign supreme, even more so than Facebook. So who knew? But I enjoyed making those, and I do have more tutorials and such on the horizon. And I would like to do another You Can Draw Star Wars. I'm considering something fun for next year, because next year will be the 20th anniversary of You Can Draw Star Wars, both the book and the videos. So waiting for this to dry, but I think let's see, what do I want to do next? The next color I would like to use, I think, is kind of like a skin tone. I would like to do some of that. So I've got some in here. I'm going to add some water to this, though. This is looks like it's a little bit thick. I might have just added too much water. We'll see. or it might be just right. This actually looks pretty good. I've got a wash here like this, just so you can see skin tone that I'm mixing. And the skin tones, like this probably looks darker than you would normally do for a skin tone, but it's transparent. They're transparent washes, so it's actually going to be lighter than that once I put it down. And again, this is the underpainting. This might actually be, I might need to add more than this, more water. Let's see what happens. I'm just curious when I, oh no, this is probably fine. This isn't too dark. This is probably just right. That looks good. Just to help this dry, I'm going to turn this upside down, and I'm going to just add some color to this. I don't know if this is supposed to be a planet here or a sun or something, but I'm going to go ahead and actually I'm going to paint the whole thing. Put some texture on the whole thing. This cool planet. So this technique is a mixed media technique. Oh, by the way, Digital Boost says, looking good. Thank you so much. This is a fun process that I really enjoy because this mixed media process, I find that it hopefully looks good from the get-go, and then it just looks better and better and better the more that you paint. And that's not all painting techniques are like that. There are some painting techniques that kind of don't look that good, don't look that good, don't look that good, and then suddenly at the end it starts pulling together, and it's a situation where you really have to trust the process. So I really dig this technique because it looks good from the get-go, and it just keeps looking better and better and better as you move along. So that's still drying there. What can I do? Is there anything I can paint upside down here? There is. I can paint in some of these areas over here. Some of these areas that are going to go brown, I can paint in. Okay. Let's see, that looks good. What am I doing here? Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Okay. What do I want to do here? I want to... Wait, I need to turn this upside down to make sure I'm not painting the wrong thing. This will help me understand it. Okay. So that's this here. There we go. That looks good. Good. Okay. This is super light, but this is just, again, this is an underpainting. This is just going to help me. It's a technique I call getting rid of the white. This is going to go a lot darker, but this is just helping me kind of separate values and especially separate color. And so when it comes time to doing the rendering, things like value, it'll really help me see where it's at, more importantly, where it needs to go. And I'm painting upside down right now just because I'm waiting for those yellow ochre washes to dry. And I kind of do that with this stage. I kind of just move all around to wherever it needs to go to just kind of get these colors in there. Just to separate. Okay, is there anything I can do here? I can probably add a little bit to the jacket. Is this dry here? No, that's not dry. So I don't want to do that. Okay. Better safe than sorry is what I say. Get rid of the white, get rid of the white. The area that I'm painting now is going to go way darker as I continue on this. But what's going to be cool, the end result, especially because in the mock-up here, it's all about these cool textures, these not multimedia, but just mixed media textures, the little splotches of paint, the gesso textures, the color pencils, it all kind of combines to create the image. And that's kind of what was so magical about these posters. You could tell it was artwork, but a lot of times you didn't even know what you were looking at. Am I looking at a drawing? Am I looking at a painting? Like, what is this? And that was the beauty of it. And I think, to me, that's what makes good artwork. It's not so much like, I almost feel like if you look at a painting and say, oh, that's a watercolor, the fact that you knew that from the get-go, not saying it's not it can't be a beautiful piece of art, but if you know right away, it's almost like it stands out more that it's a watercolor than just being this incredible piece of art. So sometimes the best art is the material where you don't even know how it was created, but what you're looking at, you love, and it just looks so cool. That's what I think. So right now, the washes, these are the first washes, and because it's going to be layers and layers and layers, right now you're seeing some streaking, you're seeing areas that are kind of wet and areas that are dry, and so on camera it looks like a little bit of a mishmash, but it's getting there. One step of many, and it's going to steer closer and closer and closer as we get there. I can tell this is already looking really cool. This is going to be fun. Cheers. Saturday night, what's everyone up to? Anyone have any Easter plans? My son is 1.5, so he's too young to like understand what the Easter Bunny is or anything, but he does understand finding things, and he also understands like putting things in a bucket. So he actually went to his grandma's today and did a little Easter egg hunt. I don't know if we have anything else. That might have been his Easter egg hunt for the year. I'm not sure, but um, super fun, and he's so cute. He's such a fun age right now. He's growing up way too fast. I thought things were going to happen a lot slower than they are actually happening. Way too fast. All right, this is this dry over here? I don't want to do too much if it's not dry yet. How's this? I think I'm safe to add in the places. Whoops! I just nudged the camera. Hold on 1 second. Just got a little bit of a wash on my thumb. I just want to make sure it's not going to drip all over here. In my studio, there, I mean, there's already paint all over the floor, but I just want to make sure it doesn't go from place to place to place on my clothes or back on the painting. Pretty much anything is a happy accident, I feel like, with painting, so I'm not too concerned about it. But if I can not have it happen, that's of course always better. All right. So here we go. I'm adding in some skin tones into some of the shadows on the face. So I'm looking at places like the ear here. I'm working on Bob Lindenmayer. And this side of his face, kind of in shadow a little bit. Not in shadow. It's like rolling into core over on this side. Nice. Very good. Okay. All right, very good. Let's see. It's a little warm here. The hair kind of coming in. Good, a little warm here. Good. Pocket of the eye here. Excellent. Smile. You guys have to see this documentary. I can't wait for it to come out so I can tell everyone about it. Right now, it's doing the film festival circuit and it is dominating. It is just rocking, as it should. It is really entertaining. And I feel like if you're a Megaforce fan, oh my gosh, you are absolutely going to love it. But even if you're not, if you don't know anything about Megaforce, um, the documentary brings you up to speed in a way that it's not boring for people that are already into Megaforce. But I think anyone would watch this and just find it hilarious and heartwarming and all the things. Excellent. Good, good, good. Uh-huh. Yeah. That looks good. This is darker here. Behind here. Mm, this is darker here. Definitely darker here. Okay. Whole inside of this wheel here is going to get darker. It's baby steps, is what it is. And it's cool because with these washes, as you continue to, whoops, as you continue to add layers, sometimes the wash will puddle up in different areas where in the end result, you'll see some colors in some places stand out more than others in really cool ways. Each one of these folds in fabric is kind of rolling into a warmer color. Very good. Now moving over here, looking at some of the skin tones on Berry. Very cool, looking good. All right. Yes. Uh-huh. I dig it. A lot darker over here. Very good. Neck is a lot darker here. Very good. Excellent. And you can see with each step, even though, again, I'm just putting in color, I'm not really looking at rendering, but naturally you're going to start to see some of the folds and some of these areas are going to start to pop out. Again, I'm not really concerning myself with rendering as much, but naturally it's just going to happen. And then as I get closer and closer, I'll start paying attention to those things a little bit more. But it'll be cool because at that point it'll be more of a question of, okay, where do these need to go? What does this need? What's the situation? But for now, it's kind of brainless. I'm not really having to worry too much about rendering. I am literally just separating color, and I'm not hurting my brain with it. I'm just having fun. Yep, yep. Looks good. All right, let's see here. Motorcycle. So there's kind of a core shadow happening in this arm here. A little bit more here. A little bit up the arm here. Good. Mm-hmm. Pretty dark here. This arm behind Barry, this is going to be an artistic choice. It's pretty light. I definitely want there to be separation between Bob's arm and the side of Barry here. So this is just kind of an artistic choice, a little bit beyond the photo reference that was taken of this. Just so it's a little bit clearer what you're looking at. You can kind of tell in the photo, but it's a little bit harder to tell in the art comp that's put together. Each step of the way, slowly getting darker, a little bit more colorful. Very good. Some of the folds here. Looks good. It kind of rolls around the shoulder here a little bit more. And a little bit more here. A little bit darker rolling around this side. Very good. Very good. Okay. This is a lot darker in here. All right, now this dust that's kicking up here, it's kind of orangey, but I'm gonna add a little bit of this skin tone here just to start getting the values in. Oh, it's gonna look cool. I'm excited. It might not look like much now, but this is gonna steer into all of the right places. I can tell. Good. Excellent. This looks good. This looks good. A little bit of color here. Um, Keith Stegall says, it's a great privilege to watch pros produce professional works of art. Thanks, Matt. What do you think of the more painterly technique of, say, the Hildebrandt brothers? Great question. Do you know, I've met them several times in my career, but I actually met them early on. It was the strangest thing. I live in Michigan now, and it's where I kind of grew up here in Michigan. But I lived in Los Angeles for the better part of a decade in the 90s. But before I moved out here, randomly, I trying to remember why I was even there. If it was a school thing or something, but I saw there was an art gallery and I said, oh, I'll pop in here. I walk in, the Hildebrandt brothers are there. There's an exhibition of their artwork and they're there signing Star Wars books. I didn't know anything about it. There was barely anyone there. And oh my gosh, so I picked up one of their books and it was just like, it was amazing. It was so cool. And this is back before I was doing anything professional, and I knew exactly who they were. I was a big fan. The Hildebrandt brothers are the real deal, and one of them has since passed away, but um, they have a really good blend of being able to work from photo reference, but they also are able to do a lot on their own. And they really understand. There's a lot of people that kind of learn this technique that either didn't go to art school or maybe don't have really strong drawing skills, drawing from life, or being able to make up things that they don't already see. And that becomes clear in the work. You really need, the more you can do kind of the full blend of being able to draw things out of your imagination, but also obviously being able to work from photos and make things look cool that way. The more you can do all of it, the better. Yeah, the Hildebrandt brothers are awesome. Trying to remember what the question is. What do I think of the more painterly technique? I love their technique. Oh, I think I might know what you're saying. So their technique is cool because it's not as mixed media. They kind of just go in and they do paint. They just go right in and do it. I would say and this is not a critique because the Hildebrandt brothers are awesome. But what you end up seeing in the end with the Hildebrandt brothers ends up being a little bit more saturated color. And I mean that in all of the best ways. So it's more saturated color from the get-go. And a lot more of what they put down opaquely stays that color. And what it does, it makes the work look a little bit, it's a little bit less photographic, but it's a lot of bit more illustrated, and you can tell it's done by hand. And in a lot of ways it's more dynamic and it feels larger than life. It has kind of a comic book feel to it, again, in all the best ways. So I absolutely love their work. All right, while I'm waiting for these areas to dry, I am going to put another layer of this kind of light skin color. I want to get a little bit more in this area in the background. It's going to go way darker, but since I have this, I'm going to go ahead and put in some of this now. Just to kind of get these deep washes and colors and textures to stand out. Yeah, the Hildebrandt brothers, they have a great technique that lets them work a lot faster. So they would do a lot of cool projects like the Shadows of the Empire trading card set where they literally did, I believe, 100, if not more, images, paintings telling the whole story of Shadows of the Empire. So they worked a lot with the Lucasfilm archives for a lot of things that we already know, Star Wars, but they also worked with a lot of models that they had for new characters and also posing as classic characters that you know, like Luke and Han and Leia, where they would have models pose for them and they would do specific lighting. There's a great book that is, I forget what the name of the book is, but it's based on Shadows of the Empire, and it shows all of the work that they did for their cards, but it also shows their sketches, how things got approved, and there's photo reference showing how they worked with models and had them pose and how they set up the lighting. It is really cool. And if you are an aspiring artist and are into any kind of illustration, that is a great book that really gives you a good inside look at how it's done, or how they do it anyway. And a lot of times we get this idea, it seems like there's two schools of thinking. Again, the idea that you're either working from photo reference and you'll always have photos provided for you, or the other where you're drawing things out of your mind and maybe reference for ideas, but for the most part you're just doing everything out of, out of your head. And it's usually a blend of both. And so that's why I usually stress you should learn both and be good at both. Little dried chunk of paint, get that out of there. And with each color or each layer that I put down, it's separating things more and more. And again, what I call getting rid of the white. Yeah. All right, so that's looking good. That's looking cool. I'm going to do a little bit more of these skin tones on the faces and just the skin. Oh, I didn't even add any here. I'll do that in a second. Um, Before I move to the next color. That's dry. Okay. A little bit more here. A little bit more here on the side of the face and temple here. Good. Eyebrow, under the eye here, eye socket. Excellent. On the neck here, a little bit darker here. Good. Good. This whole area gets darker as it rolls into shadow here. Good. It's darker in there. Good. Okay. Very good. Now a little bit more darkness on Barry over here. A little bit more in the cheek. A little bit more here. A little bit darker here. Excellent. Good, good. And each step of the way, it gets closer and closer. It might not seem like much as I'm doing it, but it's getting there. That looks good. This is going to roll a little bit more into shadow here. That looks good there. Okay. Good. All right. It's another step. Little bit closer. Now, while I'm waiting for that to dry, what can I do? Can I do something fun? Let's do a fun color. Let's do, you know what? Let's do yellow. I know it's a little, this is going to be a little screaming, but I think it's going to help. Like right now, it's looking like all of this is super yellow. It's not. It's a yellow oxide. It's kind of like a yellow ochre. So it's kind of more like a sand color. On camera, it's probably looking really, it's going to gray out closer to what you see in like the photo reference. There's a lot more brown and everything that's going to go in there. But right now I am separating stuff on purpose. Actually, right now I am cheersing because take a swig of my drink. Keith asks, did you ever do a demo of how you use a projector? There is an art of getting a good drawings with one. Sadly, both Hildebrands passed, Oh my gosh, I did not know. I did not know that. Gosh, I am so sorry. I'm so sad to hear that. I will have to look that up. I didn't know they both passed. Um, Man, that must have been off my radar. Uh, but thank you for letting me know. I actually see this area here. Just need a little bit in there. Okay. Um, Gosh, I'm gonna look that up, and I'm gonna pull out my Hildebrandt books to give them a whirl, because I haven't looked through them in a while, and they were definitely a big inspiration. All right, let's have some fun. Let's do some fun colors now. I've kind of been spending a lot of time, so let's do something that's a little bit quicker, and just adding in some fun. So this is straight up yellow, and there are some small little details, some small areas. Oh, I need to add, actually, now that I've done this, let me set this over here. Let me grab, I need to just do a quick skin tone wash. I forgot to have the face stand out on the helmet here. Whoops, that's orange. That's not what I want. Where is, did I set that over here? Where did I set that? Here it is. Bear with me. One more thing I need to do. I just need to get this wash on Bob's face inside the helmet, just like that. Okay. Very good. Before I forget. Now, so anywhere where I see yellow, I am going to throw it in there. So I'm going to take a close look at my ref. There's just a couple key areas that kind of have this yellow. It's going to look a little screaming right now. Again, this is the underpainting. Okay, patch. Got it. There's some deets here that go yellow. Seeing a little bit of yellow here, a little bit of yellow on the sides of the rockets here. All right, very good. All right, this patch here, this is drying a little too dark here. Actually, let me fix that while I got it here. Don't want that to dry too dark. That's looking pretty, that's looking good. Okay. All right, there is yellow that goes around this patch. Excellent. There is yellow kind of going at the top of this here. This is separating into some really cool colors. Good, good, good. Okay, and then I'm just gonna put in, there is just some really cool yellow happening here. So right now it might seem super yellow. It won't in the end, you won't even notice it. I think that's it. I'm not seeing a lot of other crazy yellow. There is this little spot here. Double checking. Oh, these lasers. Um, they do have a little yellow on the bottom of these lasers. So I'm going to go ahead and paint some of those in. A lot of these lasers will be done more opaquely. But again, this is the underpainting. Some of this will show through in the final painting, some of it won't. Oh, and there's cool yellow stuff in the background over here. Awesome. This is the stuff, and I'll tell you what, it is really cool that Bob kind of put together this cool comp, because a lot of this, like all of the design work, all of the color choices have already been done for me. There's just one thing that I'm gonna kind of do my own artistic take on that I think is gonna really make this pop and really make this just a little bit more 80s. All right, so there's these cool, in the background here, just this cool yellow that's just kind of fading into some of this stuff. It's like part of an explosion or something. Just kind of a cool. So cool. Good, good. A little bit of yellow under there, a little bit there, a little bit there. All right. I'm down. I'm digging that. Actually, I'm going to help separate these. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of this. Yeah, this is what's up. This is what is up. Looks good. Okay, good, good. All right. I'm digging it. I am digging it. So this looks like it's dried in the background. So I think I'm ready to start putting in some darker brown. Or do I want to do orange? Gosh, do I want to do orange yet? No, I want to. I want to do orange. I do. Gosh, I'm going back and forth. Do I, don't I? I'm going to do brown, and then maybe I'll come back to brown again. Okay, let's do that. Let's just get a little bit more of the dark brown to really kind of punch up some of these values. And here we go. Here's how it's looking. Just separating color. It's kind of like a watercolor, you know? We're getting darker and darker. The beauty of this, though, unlike watercolor, because we have our darkest darks in there, that is really going to help us with our values as we continue to judge color, and judge value, more importantly, as we get closer and closer. You can see like those little bits of yellow already are beginning to pop. That's going to be some of the fun stuff along the way. Each step, it is just going to get cooler and cooler. I'm excited about this. Okay. Good. All right. And I see, do I have purple over there? No, I have pink. Okay. Rock and roll. What do I want to do? Okay. I'm gonna start rocking. Oh, so the question: did I do a demo of how to use the projector? I have one for my students only, so it's not listed. It's not a great one. It's just kind of it's almost like this. It's just kind of a live. Hey, here's me. Here's using a projector. I didn't think it was gonna come out that good though, and it actually did. And the camera that we filmed with did pick it up pretty good. In the darkness. And that just made me say, okay, I need to do a good one. I need to do one better. So I am planning on one for sure. Okay, I'm going to add some dark brown here. And is this dry? Yes. Okay. But to do that, once again, I am going to turn this upside down. Okay, very nice. All right. Oops. So this is a darker brown, mostly made of burnt sienna wash. It's a lot darker, but not as dark as we're going to get. It's just darker than what we've done previously, obviously. And this is really going to help separate things because with it being darker, there's more value. More of a value shift, but it's still not anywhere near our darkest dark, so there's going to be at least 2 layers of this. You can see some cool textures starting to happen. There's a little bit of streaking, but it's a little bit more amplified right now. It's gonna be a lot flatter as time goes on with all of these layers. I know this is the neck, but I know it's gonna be a lot darker, so I'm just putting that on now while I'm here. And I know this kind of darker mountain range here goes darker. So yes, to answer your question, I do need to do, it's on my list of things to do. I need to do a projector demo because there is definitely an art to using one. And the problem that a lot of people do, they do one of two things. They either work too quickly with the projector and they end up tracing instead of drawing. And then you get the opposite where people do a little too much drawing, and then the issue is that they're doing too much shading, and you want to do that once you're back out of the darkness and kind of on your own, really looking at what your illustration needs. So there is an art to it, to where you're kind of drawing more than tracing, but then in some ways you are kind of tracing more than you are drawing. But there is an art to getting really cool geometric shapes and doing it in a way where you know you're going to be painting on top of it. And so in a sense, this is maybe not the best way to word it, but you're almost creating a color by number for yourself. It's not that, I know that kind of sounds like it takes the fun out of it, and I know it sounds, it does not sound as fun and artsy. It's not exactly that, but that's kind of my best way to describe what you're trying to do under the projector. So the paint's making these really cool textures, partly because of the gesso underneath the textured board, and some of it just the way that the paint is drying. And it's a little streaking, but again, it's going to be layers and layers. This is looking really brown now. It's going to get darker. It's also going to get orangier because we're going to do a really cool orange wash. We may do oranges next, maybe. All right, while I've got the dark brown here, I'm going to get a little bit darker with some of the rendering in perhaps the jackets and the faces. A little bit darker in a couple places. Let's do it. A little bit darker here. A little bit darker there, and as I'm doing this, Bob's face is starting to kind of appear a lot more. Now I see Bob. All right, so where is the darkness? Here, cool. Good, all right, this goes a little darker here. All right, very good. Okay, anything in the jacket that needs to go a little darker? I would say some of this, some of this, some of this. Very good. Let's see. Some of that a little bit darker. Good. All right. Look at this here. Okay, good. Looking at multiple references here. In some cases, I'm looking at specific photos. In some cases, I'm looking at the comp, like what the overall end game is that I'm trying to achieve. Sometimes I'm looking at it for likeness. So I'm looking at different things. In a second here, I'll show you what my references are and what I'm looking at. I'll show you as soon as I finish the rest of this rendering here. Very good. Okay. Good. All right. Let me do the rest of this here. Okay, so I promised I would show you. Oh, this needs to go darker here. Ah, okay, this. Darker, oh, this darker. Okay, and the rest of that is some of the motorcycles. I will get to that. Um, good, good. Okay. So I mentioned the reference. Brian Zanchelli, what or Zanichelli, what is up? How are you, man? Thank you for tuning in. Great to see you. Great to hear from you. So this is the main reference. This is the photo comp that Bob Lindenmayer put together. And this is mostly what I'm trying to achieve, but I also have really good references of just the actors from this photo. Here's the photo here. So like not thinking about the art, but just the rendering on the characters without any of the composite stuff that's put on the front. And then I also have another one. This is kind of a close-up of the faces just to really kind of look at what's going on here. And as I get more rendered and more detailed as I kind of move on, I will pay more attention to that. But for now, I'm going to move forward on all of the things. First, doing great. Good to hear it. What creative projects have you been working on, Brian? Cheers, by the way. What you been up to? All right, so a little bit of darkness here. Painting a little bit more darks on the motorcycle here. This goes darker. This goes darker here. This is more of a gray, but it's a little bit on the warm side, so I'm safe kind of putting this brown here. That's just going to help make it darker. The boots are darker here, and then the rest of this just gets knocked back. It's darker. And again, it's kind of gray, but it's like a warm gray. So it'll be layers and layers, but this will kind of help. All right, so let's see. We've got some darkness here from, this looks like the padding of the seat. Anything else here? Some of these rolling into shadow there. Good. Good. Couple shadows here, a little bit darker. This is a little bit darker. Good. That's straight up gray. This is going to be darker and a little bit more gray, but it's a warm gray. So let's just knock that in. What do you say? Knock it. good. All right, so this is going to go darker faux show. The designs of these futuristic bikes are so cool. Super 80s futuristic, but that was when the future looked so cool. Now the reality of future is everything is streamlined and boring. Everything, like when you look at like a phone is not like what you hoped, like back in the 80s, like futuristic looking calculators. Now it's just like a rectangle piece of glass, and that's it. Um, is boring. Back in the 80s, everything was just so functional looking and just so exciting. Now, not so much. So you have really cool subcategories of sci-fi, because real sci-fi today is just kind of boring. You know, really what the future looks like does not look very interesting at all. The practical of today does not look as cool as the practical of yesterday. So you have subcategories like cyberpunk, and so anything that's kind of old school futuristic kind of falls into the cyberpunk category a little bit by today's standards. All right, that looks good. Cool. I'm digging it. Slowly but surely, everything is coming together. All right, some darker areas on Barry Bostwick. Brian Zanichelli says, I did an art piece tribute for the 55th anniversary of Masked Rider. That is awesome. Did it was it published anywhere? Is there anywhere, like, where could I see this? I mean, I know you could send it to me, but is there anywhere online that, like, is there a collection of these or something where I can see what you did and anyone else? Inquiring minds want to know. And I'm curious, Brian, have you ever seen the movie Megaforce? I feel like this is something you would have seen or know about. So, Brian, let me know, where can I see this Masked Rider piece you did? Where can everyone see it? Looks good, looks good. Okay. More rendering. So I'm just enjoying putting in these little areas, and each step of the way it's going to get more and more refined, more and more value. Oh, I need to get deeper shadows on the shoulder here. Good. Good. Okay. And then this down here rolls more and more into shadow. As it gets closer and closer to the side here. All right. Very nice. Now this looks like it's dried here. So in the background and in some of those areas, I am going to add orange and get some cool oranges happening in this piece. What do we say? I'm digging it. I like starting with warm colors. It really doesn't matter when you're doing washes, like what color you start with first. It really doesn't. Oh, I'm going to be using dark brown again, probably. Most certainly. This orange here looks good. I just forgot what I was talking about. Someone has to remind me. Oh, warm colors. I like starting with warm colors because it ends up having like an old time, like almost like an old west kind of thing, and this piece is very warm anyway. So I just kind of dig starting with warm colors. But now we get these fun oranges. So we got these cool zigzags happening over here. But also this kind of dark brown in the background is very orangey. So I'm going to add it to that as well. I'm going to turn this upside down as I kind of look for some orangish areas here. And I'm going to take a look at, I just need to kind of look at where some things are going here. So this is going to add some oranginess to the brown here. Some oranginess to the brown here. I like it. Some oranginess here. Boom. Boom. This is also going to make it a little darker, by the way, just a little bit. And it's going to help, this oranginess is going to help separate from the cool members only jackets that they're wearing. And it's taking away from the yellow ochre, and it's not looking as yellow ochre as it once did. All right, and I've got this cool orange happening, these cool almost like ZZ Top zigzags in the background. Super cool, super 80s in all the best ways. So do you see how mixing, I had that dark brown underneath, but I've got this awesome orange going on the top, and it's creating a new color, and it's not orange and it's not brown, but that's kind of how you get all these really wonderful colors happening. And in the end, you start to see the washes kind of separate into their own magical places. And that's the juice. That's the stuff that when people look at the final painting, as they look around, they're not really going to know. When I say they don't know what they're looking at, they don't really know what part of the technique was what. There'll be certain parts where the colors that they're looking at might be color pencils. Some parts might be washes. Some parts might be opaque painting. But the real question is it cool artwork? Like when you just look at it for what it is it awesome? And hopefully, the answer is yes. Very cool. This orange is really helping to separate the background from the foreground, just like I knew it would. No, but just like I wanted it to. It's doing the work. Again, this is one of the, and hopefully if anyone was wondering, why do an underpainting? What's the point? Hopefully you're seeing it slowly come together. And this is just the underpainting. There will be more painting on top of this. Oh yes, there will. Those will be done with light. Okay, good. It's double checking myself here. That's me talking to myself. This whole planet is getting the orange treatment. There's a little bit of a wash. It's like that skin tone under here. You can barely see that coming through. all good. It's all layers, and some of them you'll see in the end, and some of them will just get completely covered. But part of the process and part of my shtick, my thing, is that, again, sometimes you don't know until you start throwing down color, which is what we're doing now. And you start steering it. Where does it need to go? What's happening over here? All right, it's got some ways to go. Already you can kind of see some wild ways that the colors are separating. And some things at first that you might have been like, man, that's really streaky. Like when I was first putting on the yellow ochre, and already a lot of those are disappearing just because contrast wins. Contrast rules all, and those little subtle differences in the end are the magic of the painting. Those are the things that people look close and they kind of trip out on, all those little textures. It's wet right now, so you're probably getting some interesting glares. It's getting there. Slowly but surely. Okay, there is some orange areas happening in the bike and some of the smoke here. So let's take a look. These rockets. All right. Oh, I forgot to do darkest darks on these guys over here. That's okay. I will go back to those. I see some areas that need to go darker here. I was planning on going, bringing out the dark brown, the raw umber. I was planning on going back to that anyway. So ain't nothing but a thing. Okay. It's cool rockets. Cool area on the bike here. I used to ride motorcycles off-roading a lot when I was a young teen. We would go to the Silver Lake sand dunes with my dad. Haven't done it as much, but I miss it. I want to, especially after seeing this dock. Oh my gosh, I'm ready for it. Baby steps. This orange isn't standing out as much, but that's okay because it is going to be layers. Good, good. Okay, that looks great. All right, the smoke here. It's kind of orangish, but I am down for it. I am all about the color at this point. It'll get more subdued later. It might seem a little colorful right now. That will change. This is just the underpainting again that I'm just laying in color. Good, good. Excellent. Still waiting for that to dry. Okay, all good. That's looking cool. Making Megaforce says so darn exciting, awesome, and I am glad that you have left a comment so people can click on your profile to watch some of the trailers. I should have left a link for that, but perhaps you can do that, or people can just click on Making Megaforce. I am so excited for this doc to come out so I can tell everyone about it. You have to see this. Everyone is just gonna, everyone already loves this who has seen it, but it's only playing, it's doing the film festival run and it is dominating. It is just taking home all of the awards. I'm curious, Bob, can you share with us how many awards has it won so far? It's like, it's got to be either close to 30 now that it's won. It is just rocking it. I'm going to add a little bit more since I've got the orange here. Add a little bit more here and here. Make these a little bit stronger. Saturated. Yeah. So dry, good. Yeah, this is the pop that the orange needed. Because sometimes your first wash, if you have too much paint, it streaks a little bit, but sometimes you don't want it to streak. And so sometimes it just needs another layer to just start setting in, and that's when you can start making steps so that it rolls into some of these softer tones. Yeah, 30. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. On the dot. Yeah, that is awesome. Super inspiring for the Aladdin 3477. The first one did not go the film festival route, mostly on purpose, but I'm thinking for the second one, it's my favorite of the three, and I'm thinking that I do whenever that film gets done, because there's a lot of visual effects, but I'm thinking film festival route is the way to go for that one. So that'll be interesting in comparison to just skipping it, and it's why with the award this show, it was so out of left field for me because I just wasn't thinking awards because we didn't do the film festival route for anything. So when we were nominated and ultimately won for best independent sci-fi, that was just super thrilling and just incredibly grateful. So I can't imagine rocking 30 awards at, oh my gosh, however many film festivals, and you've been winning multiple awards uh, at many of them, and well deserved. It's just how exciting it's going to be when this documentary, is available to the public. Very exciting. Ooh, uh, theaters. Let me see. Can I see a theater runs being planned? Hopefully, starting in June. That is super exciting. Once that is announced, I will be sharing about that and doing my part to spread the word. That's awesome. That is good to hear. All right, this looks good here. Good. There is this awesome zigzag happening here. Just need the poster art. Oh my gosh, I hope you're not waiting for me. This I'm going to be working on this. This is going to come together a lot faster now. I just had a crazy couple weeks there that just between some life stuff, but some school stuff, but I do have the next couple weeks are lighter, and I'm devoted to making this making this happen and making this look cool. Okay, now that I see this, okay, good. The background is, that is happening. So let me go ahead and now I'm going to turn this upside down so I can start adding some more of the oranges here. Not as much there, but definitely these zigzags here, these ZZ Top zigzags. Well, that's good to hear. If you're waiting on me, this is going to come together a lot quicker. I will be rifling through the steps. So I'll be doing more live streams, sharing the process. Mm-hmm. Teasing. No, I plan on getting this done. This is going to come together quicker. You've been so patient. Thank you. Um, it's these shows, but I am prepared for the next two. And there was a number of other shows I was planning on doing this summer, but I think I'm just gonna stick with the next two that I have, and then creative projects it is. All right. Good, good. All right. Um, Real quick, while I have the orange out, um, I'm adding just a little bit of orange to the skin tones here, just in a couple places, because when, especially in skin tones, when a lot of objects roll into shadow, they actually roll a little bit warm before they turn into the shadow. So in those places, I'm just going to add, it's probably a little too much there. I'm going to add just a little bit, and that is going to help areas like the nose, sometimes in the cheeks, sometimes in the forehead. It just helps make the objects turn over. Yeah. Mm. And let's get a little bit more on berry over here. Yeah. Very good. squinting in the sun. I'm all about it. I really like lighting that is direct lighting that has some good cast shadows, form shadow and cast shadow. As an artist, it's easier for me to decipher the forms. If there isn't good light and shadow, sometimes I'll even get like what's considered good studio lighting, but if it doesn't have good light and shadow, if the shadows are just kind of washed out, you know, photographers are always using those reflective dishes and whatnot to get rid of the shadows, and it sometimes it makes for a cool photograph, but it makes for horrible reference for an artist if they don't have light and shadow to work with. All right, so the oranges here before it turns over are a little bit deeper, a little bit darker. That'll come together more as we move on. Good. 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 Excellent. Uh-huh. Yep. Good. Let's see. This is a little orangier here, a little orangier here. Those are close to dry. Okay, so what do I want to do next? Let's do some pops of red, and then I'm going to go back to that dark brown to kind of render some of this out a little bit more. Yeah. All right, so I've got this red. And in my reference here, Bob's lower lip is a little on the red side because our lips are red, but as an illustrator, if you want to make someone a little bit more on the masculine side, you don't really want to emphasize that because then it starts looking like lipstick, and because it's illustrated, it'll look like you did it on purpose. So I'm not gonna put the red, just to show you guys what I'm talking about. Actually, both of them you can kind of see relatively pink lips, and so I'm gonna skip that because lips are lips, and you get the gist of that with the skin tones and the value. All right, the MF. I'll separate that more with the blue, that dark blue in a second. But we're just getting some of that in there. The strap here. Good. Excellent. Okay. I thought I saw there was another area that I was gonna hit with a little bit of red. Gosh, you know what? I might even do... You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna add a little bit of red to this area in the background, this dark brown area. I think it's gonna help. I think it's gonna make it just this awesome warm brown that I wanna have underneath. I think that's gonna be the way to go. So yeah, this is going to be cool. That's just going to help separate it even more. So it's going to be a little too much on the reddish side now, but we're going to do another layer of the dark brown on top of this, and this is just going to make it this really cool reddish brown, which it kind of is. Outline these lasers too. I'm going to do that in a moment. No pressure, take your time. I can hear my son upstairs. He's actually directly above me. I don't think he heard me, but hopefully he didn't. When my dad helped me build my studios down here in the basement, we took great effort to soundproof all of the ceilings and just give them extra insulation. Because I knew, you know, that I'd be playing movies down here and mini recording studio and whatnot. And also for the neighbors, just less, so I can play my music loud, watch my movies loud, enjoy the boom. Oh, it's gonna be so cool. So again, I'm separating color. That's all I'm doing at this point. I'm not really looking at rendering too much. I'm separating colors and slowly building towards where this needs to go, closer and closer. I'll get to the rendering soon enough as I continue to add all the bells and whistles and do all of the layers. Sounds like my son fell back asleep. He'll do that from time to time. He'll just like kind of start crying for a second, just kind of cry himself to sleep, which is appreciated. I appreciate you, Bo. This week's new video that is dropping on my YouTube channel is my unboxing of my YouTube silver button for surpassing 100,000 subscribers. Although it's kind of funny, it doesn't, it doesn't, sometimes it doesn't seem like it. Like tonight, I've got 7 of you watching me. Thank you very much. You never know what the algorithm is going to favor and what's going to hit. And here I am. I have over 1,000, over 1,000, over 100,000 subscribers. And right now I got 10 of you. I know it's a Saturday night. I know you guys have fun things to do. But this is my fun thing to do. Let me go a little deeper with the red here. The red here. The red here. The red there. And then I wanted to, yeah, let's get a little bit of a glow happening on these lasers. See, I'm just double checking everything here. Okay, good. Oh, we got a little bit of a happy accident there. Again, this is an underpainting, so there really are no accidents. Oh, I think I see what I just did. That's okay. Or how I did that. The underpainting is kind of meant to help us so when we do the real painting, so to speak, we kind of know what stands out, what we need to tape off, and especially for our opaque painting, where things need to go. Looks good, looks good. Good. Oh, this is red here. Don't want to miss that. This is red here. Don't want to miss that. Some of these areas go darker. Noted, noted. Okay, good, good. Awesome, looking cool. I need some of that red to dry in there, so I am going to go back to orange. I'm going to go to some lighter orange here, actually. There's a couple zigzag areas and a couple orangey areas that go a little bit lighter. Actually, I've got this hot pink here. There's this cool purple area happening, and I'm going to have a little bit of a pink undertone here. So let me just kind of mix this. I'm going to throw, this is not the color it's going to be when it's done, but this will help just get some color on there. Again, what I am always trying to do at this stage, I'm trying to get rid of the white. Let me mix this a little bit better. This is a little fluorescent pink now, but it's, again, this is just kind of the underpainting. There's this really kind of interesting purple that's happening with the layers of color. And so I just want this underneath. This chunky wash is just going to be some cool textures in the end. All right, looks good, looks good. Anywhere else? Yeah, there's some fun things happening. Whoops. Some fun things happening with the color here. And fun things happening with the color here. All right. And listen, any chance to put in some pink is just straight up 80s. Yeah, okay. Now, I'm gonna go to some orange again, but I'm gonna go to kind of this lighter orange. A marigold, if you will. I mean, this might look like it's straight up orange, but it's pretty light and it'll be transparent, so it'll be even lighter than that. All right, so we've got some cool orangish things happening in the sky here. Some of these I'm gonna kind of fade out with my thumb and just make them a little bit crusty like they are in the painting. Make them textured. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good. Good. Oh, I see pink over there. I'm gonna use the, I see a little hot pink coming through over there, so that is gonna be fun. Okay, so there's some orange happening here, and this is also helping to make Barry's head stand off of the sky a little bit. Some nice deeper orange kind of happening here. And I'm doing a technique called scumbling. Some people call it dry brushing, where there's barely any paint or barely any wash left on the brush, and I'm just kind of scumbling it into place. And you just kind of get these cool textures that happen. There are a little bit more orange kind of happening here. Cool. A little bit more happening here. I'm just playing, and that's kind of the fun of it now, and through a lot of the technique is just having fun and seeing what works, what isn't. For the mock-up, I used tons of swirls and swooshes. I mentioned that earlier, and I actually mentioned that a little bit earlier in the live stream. Is the Burger King posters that Boris Vallejo did, and I knew as soon as you mentioned it, I didn't see it until you mentioned it, but it's like the split second that you mentioned it, I knew exactly. One in particular, I knew exactly which one you used, and that is so cool. They're great textures. They are great textures. And so I'm trying to not reinvent the wheel here because it looks, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. This looks good here, good. A little bit more, I'm seeing a little bit, some orange happening here, good. Excellent. A little bit here. And that's good. That's going to help the vehicles to stand out. Good. Excellent. Good, good. That has a little more yellow coming in there. I may bust out the yellow again to make that happen a little bit more. Good, good. Okay, this, I'm feeling almost a little bit of orange separating here. So a lot of times when I'm doing washes, I'm not thinking as much about what color is it and only using that color, but what colors will achieve that? What colors can I use to get there? Okay, that looks good. Good. Looking around here. Okay, I need to add some deeper oranges here. Okay. I think, that's more of a reddish orange. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in. to have it. Okay, that looks good. And then I'm going to paint this in. Okay. Don't mind me chatting with myself, thinking out loud. But to the few of you who are watching, that's the idea, right? All right, so we need to make, and this helps because now I see, man, I thought that orange was dark enough, this Z, this lightning bolt here, but it's not. It needs to go way more orangey, and we're gonna add some dark brown washes in there. We need to get more darks in the bike, some more darks in the faces. So we see where this is going. Okay, all right. I'm gonna get some grays happening as well. I've got some blues to go. All right. I see what's going on. I see where this needs to be. All right. So let me see. Let me do one more wash, and I'm going to do a dark brown. I'm going to do one more wash, and then I am going to adjourn this live stream. But I think I'm going to go, well, I know I'm going to go at least another of the raw umber dark brown, and let's get this really punchy, warm brown in the background. Cheers. And that's going to look really good. Punchy. Oh, actually, I'm going to do another thing really quick. I mentioned that I see some fun. I'm seeing just a couple hints of pink up top, and I'm gonna do it because I think that's really gonna. It's just some subtle color that I think is just gonna help the 80s magic here, just a little bit. Some of this is going to disappear in the final. You know, I'm going to be doing airbrush and all kinds of fun stuff on this. So some of this is just going to completely disappear, but I see it, so I'm going to paint it. Yeah. Super cool. And then I see just a little bit coming down from this orange over here. You're seeing it a lot more than you will in the end. In the end, you're not gonna notice this as much. Cool, cool. Just a little bit more happening in here. All right. All right, so now I'm going to do that another layer of dark brown. Let's see, add a little bit of zip there, and I'm going to do, since I got this out, just a little bit more rounding out here, and a little bit more here. Awesome. All right. One more layer and then we will call it an evening. And I may do a few more washes in the interim before the next step, but the next step will actually be the airbrush. But that's another evening. And I will probably do that this week. Gosh, when will I do that? I may do it during the day, and this week I'm gonna aim to do that this week at some point. All right, dark brown, here we go. See some heavier orange areas that I need to do, taking note of all the things. So I'm going to be laying in this area in the background. It's really going to separate the main characters from the background. Turning this upside down just because I'm painting in these areas and I kind of know where it goes, but just to be safe, always double checking what I'm doing. Yeah. And this is getting darker and darker, but it's got these nice warm washes that we've also done. So in areas where the wash is drying in different places, it's going to be picking up the dark brown more in some places and some of the reds and oranges in other places. But it's just a little bit darker, a little bit punchier. Just what it needed. I already know this neck needs to go a little. So what happens with live streams, I've been noticing that not a whole lot of people watching when I do them on the weekends, but come Monday morning, it says a lot about our work culture, and not necessarily in a bad way, but I notice most of my peeps watch my videos. Doesn't matter when I release the video, most people will be watching come Monday.